replaced GFCI and now it doesn't work.
I already looked that up once. You just need to figure out what's the lock and load.
I figured I better line and load. I could just go in there and start winging it, or I could look it up on my phone and actually have, some...
And not pay attention to this video? Is that what you were saying?
I'll pay attention. I always do.
No, you don't.
I do.
Don't.
Sometimes you just don't say anything worth commenting on.
Hi again. My name is Rebel, and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today I'm going to be doing my What Sold video for last week, Monday through Thursday, which was December 1st through the 4th. Still excellent sales. Been just very happy. We've actually been off of promoted listings for 2 days. My sales are still okay, but I just think it's a matter of I'm a toy reseller, and it is fourth quarter, and we're down to the to the end of it, and people are hustling, trying to get those last minute gifts ordered. I haven't had too many people asking me, will it make it for Christmas? I wonder how many of y'all are getting that question quite often. All I do is respond, I can ship tomorrow, and the rest is up to the post office. And then, that just leaves it on them whether, they think it's going to make it there or not. If they're in California, it might not. Maybe if they're in North Carolina, they might. But dang, sometimes our packages are taking statewide trips around the universe, it seems sometimes. So, oh no. Don't know. I'm still waiting on some, not even last minute gifts. I ordered them Black Friday weekend, not on eBay.
On Amazon.
On Amazon. I still don't have my packages, and it's starting to irk me.
They said they would be here between the 12th and the 16th when I ordered them.
But they're not even shipped. Sorry.
Look. They said they would be here. They will be here.
Uh-huh.
I just don't understand why they haven't shipped yet. So no live tomorrow.
No live tomorrow.
Somebody has a dentist appointment.
Yeah, I don't do well with dentist appointments. So I'm not even going to say we'll do it later in the day. They've got to take a crown off. They think it's failing, and they're going to try to save whatever's underneath the crown. But I hate dentists. I hate them.
Okay, quit whining about you. Let's talk about the live.
Okay.
Tuesday, 9 a.m.
Tuesday.
Same time.
Different
one day
day.
late.
Yeah, we'll do the live the next day. Unless, y'all remember when they pulled this tooth and I was bruised all the way. Yes, I'm a baby. I had some Etsy's to share with you. A lot of sales on my eBay. And then Robert had quite a few too for that 4-day period. So let me just show you some of the stuff that we sold. First, on Etsy, I have 3 sales to share with you. The funny thing is I accidentally sold something on Etsy that I had already sold on eBay. So I had Robert pull some reports and compare what's on Etsy. Was it still on eBay? And this item actually came up on Etsy, but not on eBay. And I went and double checked that it was in the bin. So then I went ahead and transferred it through List Perfectly back to eBay, and it sold the same day on Etsy, which was just kind of funny.
We have to interrupt.
What?
So our GFCI outlet in the bathroom, the face came off and broke, and it's a 3-piece thing. It's got a light switch, an outlet, and then a GFCI outlet, all tied together. So I replaced it the other day, and I put it back in just like it was wired up. But apparently I just learned that new ones, the line and the load are reversed, top to bottom.
Oh.
So I have to go in and should be able to flip those 2 wires, and it should start working again.
Hopefully. And it's, we have 2 sets of lights in the bathroom. He always turns on the one by the door. I always turn on that one. So every day I'm still going in there, flip that light switch. Oh, turn that light switch. Just habits.
So what y'all should do is you should hire an electrician to do your work. Don't do this like I do. At least
it makes me nervous.
This is better than back in the days when either I had no book I mean, because the first electrical work I did, I had a little book back in the 90s. And I added a light and did some work, and all I had was the book, and there was no going to YouTube and finding out, that, okay, maybe you need to do this. But fortunately, the book was accurate enough back then. But whew, these days, you got YouTube.
You can find anything on YouTube.
You can build a house from YouTube. I don't know how good it would be.
I think so. All right, first thing, though, was this Keel toy. I love that brand. Really, really good quality. It is a Border Collie dog plush, and it sold for $53.95. And then, second time now, I've sold this hat. I sold it on eBay, and she didn't like it, or it didn't fit, or something. Came back. Now I have sold it on Etsy. It is a vintage, made in Japan, yellow bucket hat, and it sold for $22.45. And then these Calico Critters figure lot with some vehicles sold for $44.95. And then eBay. Y'all, I've had this listed forever. I'm pretty sure I picked it up at my favorite little estate sale company. I don't have it on, but a lot of my Life is Good shirts have daisies. I just love daisies. So it had caught my attention. Then I just decided to go ahead. I'm not a knick-knack person. Just decided to list it on eBay, and it finally sold. $13.45. Manhattan Toy Chicken Rooster Plush Lot sold for $34. Love Manhattan Toy. I'm pretty sure I got these from my friend Shannon down in Florida. Just a box lot of these Hallmark Christmas ornaments that are, I guess, what do they call these types of cars? The Thunderbirds, the Mustangs.
Those are classic cars.
Yeah,
two of them are
cars.
Convertibles. I guess they could be considered muscle cars.
Yep. Finally sold, though, $28.
Not really a muscle car. That would be your Camaros and your Corvettes.
So, though. Kind of sort. That's the word I was actually looking for. But classic works, too. Okie Dokie is the brand. It's a JCPenney's thing, I'm pretty sure. Maybe Toys R Us had it also, but I like picking up especially the Loveys. And this gray hippo sold for $11.66. And if you're new to my channel, all of this would be, the buyer also paid shipping. Hallmark Rodney Reindeer Plush. This is one of the large plush, 20 inches wide. Sold a lot of Rodney reindeers in this video. This particular one sold for $15. I need to see how many of them do I have left. Fisher Price Singamajig plush sold for $26.95. The Fisher Price ones sell the best. So if you find them and it's Fisher Price, I would encourage you to make sure you at least check comps, but pretty much it's a pickup for me. Basic Fun now puts them out also, and I don't tend to pick them up. Maybe if I saw a lot of them, I might, but the Fisher Price ones do much better. Aurora Pink and White Poodle Dog Plush. I think this is the second one that I've sold. Normally, I've been lotting up these small Aurora plush, but this one sells well on its own, and it sold for $17.95. Animal Alley Shih Tzu dog plush sold for $12. Lots of dogs. That was my focus this year. I think I bought a lot of dogs and cats. This is one of those things I used to do so well with Bubble Guppies. So well. And they sold for a lot. Not so much anymore. I think this may be the last of it. I know I just recently sold some plush. This was just a car and a couple of the figures. And I took an offer of $12 for each. No, not for each. For total. Hot Fingers gloves. I guess snow gloves. Going skiing. I don't know. They caught my attention at the bins. They ended up selling for $13.45, but they took a long time. House of Hatton. I have talked about this brand before as far as like some plush that I like picking up. Just really neat nursery decorations, just very pale, nice quality. But they do have a series of ornaments. And the funny thing is I got a question from this buyer on this, that I guess she'd gotten all up close and personal with the pictures and was asking me if the center basket had the handle was broken. But I went out and I looked at it physically, and it's just got a crease in it. And she went ahead and purchased it. Sent me an offer for $17.50. Another Rodney reindeer. This is Ramona, and I took an offer of $14 for her. These sold immediately. If it had been complete with more of the figures and stuff, it sells $120. I had got this at the bins. I'm pretty sure it was open. I dug out everything that I possibly could find, and then I dropped them on the floor in the bins and had to pick them all up again. But basically, I put not complete, no idea what's missing. And it sold within minutes of listing it. For an offer of $59. So definitely one of those sets that you want to keep an eye out for. Puppy dog Christmas stocking sold for $17.95. I love these. I pick them up all the time. Thomas Trackmaster Track Lot. Usually, I used to get better for them. About $1 a track. These had been listed about 5 months, so I went ahead and took the offer of $35. Still, when I pick these up at the bins, it's probably maybe 2 pounds, maybe 3 pounds, so I'm paying $2. So I've got $6 into 35. Still not bad. Shimmer and Shine Christmas ornaments. Not sure where I got these from. Be funny if I actually got these from Shannon also, but maybe not. These are by Kurt Adler, dated 2018. They sold for $17.95. Fisher Price Puffalump, Yellow Duck Chick. Picked this up at the last trip to the bins. Sold for $26.95. American Greetings Get Along Gang stocking. I bought a pile of stockings at my favorite little estate sale company. I want to say I paid $0.25 each. There was Cabbage Patch in there. There was just some plain like puppies and cats, and then this Get Along Gang. This one stocking sold for $9.95. Fisher Price Little People Baby Toddler with the Walker. Y'all, this is one of their newer series by Little People. If you see them, grab them. They tend to do really well. There are some that sell for quite a bit. This did sell, I think, within a day of listing for $13.45. But definitely keep your eyes open on these new toddlers by Little People. This was a quick sale and a surprising sale. Usually, I've done a video on Kohl's Cares plush before. The Click Clack Moo plush are the ones that I learned are the ones that sell for the most individually. Now, you can sell some of the Kohl's stuff, in lots, and it does well. But this Madagascar penguin, definitely one to be looking for. He sold in about 2 weeks for full price, $49.95. Disney figures, I want to say that I probably did this a couple of years ago. Just had a whole bunch of these small things, made one lot, finally sold $16. I still pick up a lot of this type of stuff at the bins. Now, I actually sold both of these in this video. I'll show the other one in a second. I want to say I grabbed these at the bins, and I was just going to put them on Whatnot and realized this one is better than the rest, better than normal for these type plush. It is Groovy Girls. It is Vivica Be Mine Valentine doll from 2006. This one sold for $35.95, and then the other one's going to be here in a second. Cloud Bee Dreamy Huggins Hippo Plush. Love that brand. $13.45. Picked this up at an estate sale. This was the one that it was armed. They had armed guards at this sale. I want to say I paid $8 maybe. Sunny and Company is the name of the brand. Usually it's like kids, but this was a camel dressed as a sheik, and from 2003, sold on an offer of $50. And then Blah Blah. I like that brand. Some of them are bread and butter. This one was a little better. He is Jacques the Hippo, and he sold for $30. Commonwealth Dalmatian Dog Plush sold for $19 in about 3 or 4 days. Fisher Price Loving Family Dollhouse. This was more of the stuff that I picked up in a bins at St. Louis this last trip. This set of just kind of miscellaneous furniture sold for $50, $49.95. Little Tykes Clothes Iron Pretend Play Laundry. I actually have the ironing board also, but it's so long. I'm probably not going to list it. I may just go ahead and donate it. It's very cute though. But the iron sold for $17.95. Oneida, again, this is just the serving and some pieces. I bought a bunch of silverware and sorted it out, and I've still got a bunch of it I didn't list because it's like a couple of pieces of this and that, and I just haven't gotten to it. This set sold for $17.95. Fisher Price Little People. This is a camper to the Chunky series. It should have had like a camper top. Oh no, like a boat that sits on top. It sold for $15.25. Target Brown Sloth. I think she's supposed to have a baby with her, but I've sold the baby separately at times, and then this is the 16-inch larger one. $17.95. Kid Robot Venom Plush with the vinyl head sold for $13.45. There's the other Groovy Girl. She sold for $32 offer. Pillsbury Doughboy Giggles 1997 sold for $17.95. Hasbro Ugly Doll Plush. These are all mini clip-ons. I bought a bunch of these in a bin in the, I think it was Bridgeton bins this last trip or the trip before. I cannot remember. I sold a bunch of them on Whatnot. I think this was what was left. They ended up selling for $17.95. Definitely something I'll keep picking up. This was a vintage Pendleton wool trench coat. Been listed probably a year or so. Ended up taking a $52 offer on it. Get the big coats gone. Anytime I find the vintage baby bibs, I grab them. This one was still in its original packaging. Sold for $22.45. Especially the ones with the little pocket at the bottom that catches the food. Little Tykes. This was elegant Victorian dinner plates. Sold for $17.95. Funny thing is I think I have cups that went to this that somehow got separated and they're not listed yet. I gotta go looking for them, I think. Another one of the Hallmark Jingle Pals. This one sold for $17.95. I picked up 9 recently at an estate sale. A lot of them were selling for $22, $25, a little bit more. This one wasn't worth as much. Still profit.
You got 2 of those left.
Two of the 9, and then I may have a few that I've picked up at the bins. I find them a lot at the bins, but I have decided if they're not clean, I'm not picking them up first and foremost. And if I can't get them to immediately work, I'm not picking them up. If somebody carried her fanny pack in with the batteries, then maybe I would check them to make sure they work, but so often they do not work. This is Asterix Plush. It's from a book series, I think French. This one, I guess, is a remake from 2020, sold for $11. I have found the books before, and I think a vintage plush. This is VTech Space Blasters game, handheld game from 1988. You know, I had a video of it working. It didn't stick. Sometimes they don't stick, and if I don't go back and look, I do not know. So hopefully there's no issue. This sold for $22.45. Puppet Company. I have sold a lot of puppets this fourth quarter. This is a baby dinosaur. Sold for $13.45. Hasbro Stuart Little 2 Talking Bird Plush. This is the second one of these I sold. This one was working. I do have a video. $35.95. Chick-fil-A. I pick up any and all of the plush when I find them at the bins. This one sold for $26.95 in about 2 weeks. Barbie Club Chelsea doll with a horse figure. Again, a lot of these I've picked up at the bins. This sold for $13. Douglas dog plush. I had I picked these up for Whatnot. Douglas does well on Whatnot, but it has to be those high dollar ones or nobody's really interested. I literally took about 5 days for this to sell. I put 2 dogs. They both had some condition issues, and they sold very quickly for $15. Build-A-Bear, Batman and Batgirl outfits sold for $19.95. IKEA Siberian Husky plush sold for $22.45. I think this is one of the larger ones. They come in different sizes. Kohl's. I love Kohl's. I pick up almost all of them that I find. Some are bread and butter. Some do better, like the Madagascar, but this one sold for $8.96. It is biscuit. Joseph Originals. Picked this up at an estate sale. She had some really unique vintage, like little knick-knack stuff. A whole table of turtles. This one just caught my attention because it had its little sticker still, and it sold for $17.95. It is Joseph Originals. Build-A-Bear Hello Kitty blanket sold for $13. Bright, New Bright is the brand. Magic Mike Silver Robot. Was in its original box. Again, I took it out, tested it, showed that it, did the things that it was supposed to do, and it sold. It had been listed a while, probably 2 years, and I decided to take a $45 offer for it. PJ Masks. I'm including this because it's one of the things I'm no longer going to pick up. I'm not going to pick up probably the figures or the plush. Bluey, I'm not going to pick up anymore. They just tend to not sell very well. I'm trying to think of some of the others. A lot.
Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol, probably. They take a while, and but I see them all the time. But this one took probably 3 years to sell for $12.11, and especially the large ones like this pillow plush.
So is that a market signal when you see these things at the bins or at yard sales a lot? Is that a market signal that maybe that's not the thing we should be picking up because there's so many of it being gotten rid of?
I don't know.
Are they oversaturated, or have kids moved on to other stuff, or maybe it's just in our area kids have gotten past it, and other places they would sell well to people on the West Coast? I don't know. I'm not sure what finding a bunch of the same thing at the bins says about a market signal. What do y'all think about that? Is it avoid that stuff, or pick it up because there's a lot of it and you could sell like multiple quantities of it.
Here's another Rodney reindeer. This one sold for $17.95. Oh, the person who bought that first one also bought this one. This is Randy from the Rodney Reindeer series, and she paid $13.45 for it. Goldberger Lollapalooza baby doll has the rubber face. Don't find it very often, but when I do, if it's clean, I'm going to pick it up. This one sold for $26.95. And last but not least, this was a Build-A-Bear lamb from that place.
Our Lady of the Snows.
Yeah, Our Ladies of the Snows shrine, something or other. There's several plush that have been attributed to that site. This one I think is the one that did the best for me. Maybe one other one. But this one sold for $30. And then for Robert's store, he sold, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things that week. Sold some Lee women's jeans for $10.78. Probably not something we're going to continue picking up. I don't think so, unless they're like cargo, flared. But to me, they take a while.
What were they?
Lee.
These vintage ones. They seem to do better for us. But I pass up a lot of Lee at the bins, and they're thin. Mm-hmm. So if I grab it and it's Lee and it's thin, I just set it aside. Unless it's like she says, cargo possibly, but Carpenter especially. That seems to do well regardless of the brand for the most part. But if I pick up Lee and they're thick and heavy, then I'll take a second look at them and see if it's something that we want to pick up.
Yep. 7 for All Mankind women's jeans, $20.98. Rhythm and Blues jeans. These still had their original tags and stickers. I still list them as used, but I'll put unused, excellent condition for eBay. And these sold for $22.21. Levi's men's 505 sold for $19.99. LEI women's jeans bootcut. They had some embellishments on them. Sold for $11.41. Plus shipping. Men's Wrangler 42 men's jeans sold for $12. Again, we need to move away from that brand for the most part.
Y'all notice how she gives me the look.
I don't like Wrangler unless it's like Q Baby or
George Strait.
Those. But these regular, just plain old men's jeans, they take forever, and we don't sell them for a whole lot. But we can get a lot if we really want to. Old Navy men's jeans sold for $15.01.
This is a brand. I don't pick up the women's.
Right.
If it were women's that were flared or had some sort of significant styling of some sort to it, I would look at them and decide whether or not to get them. But I just don't pick up all the diva, boyfriend, whatever
anymore.
All that stuff
we
is.
Have them.
At first I thought they would do all right, but they take forever in the women's and they don't sell for a lot.
And they come back.
And they come back more often, but the men seem to do fairly well for us.
Yep. Silver jeans. This is Suki. What is it?
The style?
Yeah, the style. These sold for $21. And Baby Fat. These are women's wide leg jeans, sold for $19. All right. Got one more video and we'll be all caught up.
That's what you said last week. And all we had to do was record a video and get it out on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes your weeks are just like that. And especially trying to get Christmas stuff in and just all of that stuff. It just seems to have been busy. Lots of doctor's appointments right now, too, for me. Mm-hmm. So, all right. It's time to get to work. Bye.